Hey guys, how are you doing today? I hope everyone is well. And today we have an amazing interview for you with Shilpa. Let me just hold her to the game. If you are live, please type your name and where are you tuning in from. And if you are watching the replay, at hashtag replay, and then we will be able to interact. So let's see if we can add the Silva to the game. Let me just send her. How are you doing, guys? We had already one other interview about creating your book story and putting everything into your into your book. So I really hope that slowly but surely you guys are getting ready. Okay, so if I see if I can add her, and we are ready to roll. Hey,
Hey, hey!
first time. Hey, how are you
I
doing
know. I'm
today?
very good. Now, can you see me all right, or am I appearing squint? Like, am I seeing in the
You're
right?
the direction is good. Yeah, you are a little bit close, but that doesn't really matter. So
Okay.
yeah, something like that. But oh
How
good, oh good.
about this?
Fabulous. Yes. Oh,
Right.
fabulous.
Okay, cool.
Thank you very
It's a
much for
bit,
joining us. Yeah.
thank you. It looks a bit dark though, don't
Yeah,
I?
what's the time by you? Where are you tuning in from?
From Adelaide, it's 6:30 p.m.
6:30, okay. But it's
Yeah.
already dark, right?
Yeah, it's dark. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I've
yeah,
got the lights
exactly.
on, but my room is a bit small. No worries. Let's just keep going.
No worries. Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
What matters is that we are here fully present and what you have to
Absolutely.
share with us. So, just a little introduction. Um, I'd like to showcase in these Beam of Inspiration videos people who are already living it, the laptop lifestyle, killing it in their field. So please, and I want to showcase that we are not so different from the people who are just starting out or playing with the idea. So if you could tell me your background and how you ended up where you are right now, that would be fabulous to inspire others to do the same.
Thank you. Okay, so hey everybody, I'm Shilpa and I'm a book writing coach and marketing mentor. Now, I think you are in for some surprise because you're not going to get the typical kind of answer that all laptop
Yay!
lifestylers, talk about. So I have tried. I have given Laptop Lifestyle a go. Back in 2017, my husband and I, we set out on a caravan with our 1-year-old, wanting to create a project of growing a baby and a business on the go, right?
We have to talk about that. That's actually what I'm thinking of
Right.
as well. It's
So,
like
okay, I'm
I
gonna give
just want
you,
to take the child and just go roll with it, up until you
yeah.
don't need to take to childcare and stuff like that. How did that work out?
Right. So, what happened in that journey is the baby grew and the business just stood where it was. So,
Okay.
I had totally underestimated the needs of
Okay.
of a tiny tot. Like, because just before we left on the caravan, my daughter was not walking yet. And she used to play in a corner. She would be where I left her, right? And within a
Oh
month,
yeah.
she started needing attention. And so there were a lot of myths busted, and I found myself being at effect. I was like, nobody told me that's not fair. Nobody told me the baby needs so much attention, and
That's where I'm at right now, actually. Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
child.
So
In the family, we never had anyone have a child, and I'm seeing from my friends that it is a full-time, more than a full-time job, right? So you
It
don't even
is.
sleep and you don't do anything. But I'm like the optimist, right? I'm like the so many women can handle business and kids together. I'm the productive ninja, right? I shouldn't have a problem with it. I'm afraid that the kid cannot be put into the checklist, right? So I guess that
Exactly,
won't
exactly,
work
you
like
know.
that.
Yeah. So, I think we've taken a turn totally different from, talking about book writing, but I think it's essential. It needs to be shared. It needs to be talked about honestly and openly. So, in the beginning, I was very embarrassed and ashamed of myself. I thought I'm a failure because I could
Mm.
not achieve what I set out to do.
Mm.
And the child would need me all the time. And one more what can I say, important aspect that I missed when I was planning this whole caravan tour is I was in wishful thinking, because um, right from she was 6 months old till she turned 1 year, she used to go to daycare for 6 hours, like 3 days or 4 days a week, right? And that's when I was making like some epic business momentum happen. And then suddenly I pull her out of daycare and take her with me on a caravan, and I'm expecting she's going to, just
Be
allow me
okay.
that 6 hours. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
going
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
not need my time. She always needed the time, but there was a carer caring for her while she was at
Okay.
daycare. So I completely,
Yeah, right.
ignored that fact. Um, so anyways, I mean, why I really wanted to share this is now, and why am I still in the Laptop Lifestyle Builders group? Why am I still doing this conversation with you? Because I have discovered my personality type, and I need that certainty. I need the certainty of operating from, like, from a base where I know that I don't have to worry about the internet speed. I don't have to worry about
Oh,
whether the
yeah.
lighting is correct. I don't have to worry about, am I going to get quiet time? Am I going to get the basic resources that I need? Because when I'm working with a client, it can get really intense in our coaching sessions, because we're discussing their life story, we're discussing traumas and pains and grief and everything in between, right? And joy and happiness. So for all of you listening to this, and who have been chasing the illusion. I mean, I wouldn't say illusion, but yes, like the illusion that others have created. I would like to say,
Yes.
a laptop lifestyle is how you define it. So if I like to work from my laptop on my desk, then that is my laptop lifestyle,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
for me, laptop lifestyle means that you can choose where you are working from.
exactly.
For example,
Yes.
I hate to work outside because I cannot see the screen. I cannot focus. I like
I
to
ag-
schedule time to work, right? Because it's like it's fabulous outside. I love it. The sun is out.
I
Let's do
get you. I
quickly what
don't
I need to
know.
get, right?
I don't know how people work
I
from the
have no.
beaches, because the sand really turns me off. So, and I'm really concerned, like, sand getting into the crevices of my laptop, and I don't want that. And it's sunny. I mean, so basically, I just want to take the pressure off of following anyone else's definition of, designing a laptop lifestyle. So what works for you and what keeps you happy is your laptop lifestyle. And now let's talk about books.
Exactly, exactly. And let's write that book to reach that lifestyle what we want,
I
right?
know, right? Yeah.
So how does that work?
How does that work? Wow, that's a huge question. Um, right. So look, I'm imagining, the people in this group are, either finding their feet, uh, dabbling with a few ideas. They are playing with the concept of going into their business full time. They've got a passion. They may or may not be trained coaches, but they have a life full of experiences that is extremely rich, and that needs to be shared. And it is for people just like you, if I've got the audience correct, it's for people just like you who really need to write a book. And I'm going to actually give a couple of examples, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to talk about the best examples, but the not so great examples. I mean, perfection wise, right? And what do I mean by that? So
Okay.
um, I'm going to show you the book. So this is the book of one of my most recently launched authors. The book is
Ooh,
called
cool.
Stride. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a woman's guide to an extraordinary life, career, and leadership.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
so Madhu is a women's leadership coach, and she helps women stand up for themselves, shine, and own their worth in the corporate workspace, to become step up as leaders and show their all that they are. uh, Now while there are others, most of my clients, they are already working, they're already coaches, and they've started a coaching business, and they started experiencing some struggles. Like, I'm a coach, but when I go into a sales conversation, I'm not able to convey to my client what it is that I do. And when I'm asking them for, like a $2,000, when I'm pitching them a $2,000 package to work together for, say, 6 weeks or 12 weeks, they're not willing to pay me that much, and
Mm.
they can't see the value I'm going to bring. And that's when they realize, I need to write a book so I can package my ideas into a book, and I can just give them the book as a meeting gift. It already
Hmm.
gives them an upper hand. It says, like, hey, let's catch up for coffee. And when they catch up for coffee, hey, I've got a gift for you. Here's my book,
Oh, that's so
right?
cool. That's so cool. Mm-hmm.
Right. It already, like, you're giving them a gift that's worth at least $20 to $30 in money, but in value, it's extremely rich, and it's got their story. So it allows the client to take some time to read this person's story and connect with them deeply.
Yes.
Connect with the vulnerabilities of the coach and realize, oh my God, like, he has gone through so much. He can help me, you know. So that's
I
one
love
kind of
that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that's one kind of people who are, who decide to write a book when things are not going so well. The other kind of people are like Madhu and another lady, Rachel, so Madhu is studying coaching now, but
Okay.
she made the decision of studying coaching and writing her book parallelly. So Madhu did not, she did not go the conventional way. She's like, I'm going to start studying coaching. I'm going to become a great coach. Then, when I am so good, that's when I will give myself the permission to write a book. Right? Um,
Right.
so a lot of people are stuck in that rut where, they think, I'm not good enough to write a book yet. I have to have a coaching business. I have to have 10 paying clients. I have to generate at least $100,000 of income. That's when the world will welcome me as an author. Otherwise, who am I? Like, whoever told me, how can I write a book? Right? So they resist the writing pathway, thinking that
Mhm.
someday they're going to be good enough, but
Mm.
instead they start falling down in the downward spiral because they're not able to convey, and then they don't get clients, and then they're like, what the hell, I'm frustrated, now I need to write a book, right? And Madhu avoided that trap. So she started writing a book while she was learning coaching. And she's already got quite a few paying clients because of her book and the positioning. Like, people take her seriously in the corporate world.
Mhm.
That's where
Oh
her
yeah,
market
and
is.
corporate word. It's yeah. It's. I was just talking to one of mine client, and she's a doctor, and she's like, people are not in the corporate world. People are thinking differently, right? As we do here. You watch two
Yeah.
videos, you connect with the person, and that's it, right? It's like,
Yeah.
oh, she's already there where I want to be. Let's work together, or find a way to follow each other or
Yeah.
collaborate or something.
Mm.
But in the corporate world, if you don't have a proper LinkedIn account, or if you are not dressed like they want you to be dressed,
Yeah.
like then it's
Yeah.
something different. And there are different stages, of course, what you need to go through as a person and as a coach,
Yeah.
to taken seriously. Yeah. And
True.
the book
True.
is a great. And also, when I started to write back in the days when I started moving to my life online, I used writing as a tool to write my pain out of myself, right? So for me,
Sure.
that was more journaling and
Yes.
writing the and now that I was moving, and with I found the book what I wrote back then. So I
Mm-hmm.
haven't found the courage just yet to read it, because it was a week after my father died. So after 5 years, I'm still a little bit, on the edge to read that and see how it was. But yeah, I definitely will need to go back to that.
Yeah. 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 Beautiful. Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about your father's passing. This was the other lady whose story. It just reminds me of Rachel. So Rachel is, she is not a professionally trained coach, but she decided to give herself the permission to become the authority in grief coaching because
Oh.
there's right, an institute, a coaching institute, a coaching academy can teach her something, but not what her life has taught her in, through having to overcome the grief of losing her dad. So she has a story. She lost her dad to bowel cancer. I think I'm mixing up the cancer, but she lost her dad to a form of cancer when he was 46 years old. And
Mhm.
then some 26 years later, she lost her husband to the same
Oh.
cancer when he was
Mm.
46 years old. Now that's
Okay.
really freaky, right?
It is. It is.
And so there's a lot of spiritual lessons in her journey, for her, right? Why is she attracting the same thing in her life over and over again? She lost the two most significant men in her life, you know, uh, and the sequence of events was like exactly the same. So, and that's what her book is about. And she's such
Mm.
a resilient woman. She has gone through grief and she has only looked at, now in reflection, she calls her book Gifts from Grief. So there are a whole, what can I say? There's a whole buffet of gifts that grief has brought her. Some are,
Mm.
just to name a few: perspective, growth,
Mm.
gratitude, adventure. So these were the things that she was able to be more present to and enjoy deeply
Mm.
because she has experienced that extreme grief, right? So that's one more, what can I say, criteria. That's one more kind of people who I work with who
Mhm.
decide to give themselves the permission that I am good enough, my story is good enough, and it needs to be told. Not waiting for
Because all,
any.
yeah, yeah. Sorry to just
No, no, go
everything
for
is
it.
a good enough story. Yeah. So right. So
Exactly.
it's like it's not that we are saying that your story is good enough. It's you allowing yourself to say that. Okay, here is a message, and I want to. The purpose of my life is to help people, to give the solution what I found to this particular problem, right? So it's
Absolutely.
it's it's really something within you. We all have amazing stories. And what I found, since I'm online and meeting all of these amazing people, I used to live in Germany, I used to live in England, I'm back in Germany now. I met huge amount of people from different cultures, from different languages, and I truly believe that our core values are the same. It doesn't really matter what
Yeah,
culture, what religion, what skin type, what not. It doesn't matter what
nothing.
age. The good
Absolutely.
within us is the same, and the
So is the
values
bad
and
within us.
oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, yeah, but sorry,
And
go
that's what
on.
we need to share. Yeah. So that's and we can find, and everyone can find a point in our lives where I can say, like, if you haven't told me that you went on that caravan year with a baby, I wouldn't never know that there is something common in us, right? So that's why
Yeah.
you have to share your story, because you will attract people who went through what you are going through,
Mm.
who are in the process of going through, or whatever, right? So that's why
Mm.
story is important, and that's why I find it amazing that people are starting to come out and teaching people how to use it for their own healing, right? Or for the
Mm.
business as well. So yeah, yeah, you have to, everyone who is watching, you have to share your story, because that's the key to
Absolutely,
marketing.
you
That's
know.
the key to your soul. That's the key to your purpose.
Yeah. Because, think about people like Rachel, She's sharing her story, uh, despite the fact that on the surface it sounds like a very average story, right? Because who in the world has not, like, how many women have lost their, how many people have lost their dads, and how many women have lost their husbands, right? And there might be a lot of similar coincidences who have lost both their dads and their husbands, right? Uh, but so she had two choices. She had the choice of the option of just hiding and keeping her story to herself, and beating herself up for not being unique, or she could take the path of saying, yes, but I cannot take my story away with me. I have to share it. Yeah, because I have to,
And help others.
it's,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and help others. Like, I have the duty. So she took it upon her to, um, share her story and create an immediate impact in her local circle. And when, it's like the ripple effect, it does not start globally, it starts locally, right? We all want our books to be a global sensation, but for which you have to write the book in the first place,
Yeah, right. You
right?
have to allow yourself to write that book at
Exactly.
first, and you have to write that actual book. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so this is how this is if
So
someone
this is
wants to
basically,
join you.
yeah, it's mainly, what I've touched upon is the mindset, because as you can imagine, there's very little justice to the system that I could do in 20 minutes. Um, but to take you through so I'm going to quickly, briefly walk you through the four pillars. But even before that, I
Oh,
want to
cool.
touch upon I want to touch upon the message of enoughness, which is what you've called the video, the title. And enoughness is the book that I'm writing now. It's my second book,
Ah,
and
okay.
it is the result of an epiphany I had. And I think even though it might take us another 5 extra minutes, I'm going to just share it because it's really, really
Please.
valuable and relevant, right? So just less than a month ago, I was at my work desk, one morning, and I was particularly like confused and really procrastinating, and I was struggling to even make a simple decision as to what do I have to do right now. I was like, okay, what do
Mm-hmm.
I do? Do I journal? I'm restless. Let me try journaling. No, let me listen to an audiobook. Oh no, let me read a book, a paperback. Uh, no, let me type
I
out
just went
some
through the
thoughts.
same. So
Yeah,
funny.
and
Yeah.
I spent 2 hours. I spent 2 hours not being able to decide what I want to do, between
Mm-hmm.
journaling or reading a book, journaling or reading a book. And I'm not joking, I was like stuck.
Mm.
And then, like, I started getting this urge to go for a run. And it was a beautiful, sunny autumn day. It was like 10-ish in the morning. And I felt like going for a run. I've got my husband who works with me in the business, so we both work from the same office. And I just told him, Aki, I feel like going for a run. He's like, yeah, go, you know.
Mm.
And I was like, what? He did not stop me. So there were a lot of yeah, like,
The path
life
of
can
least
be,
resistance. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and life can be very simple. It's us who make it complicated, and it's us, it's ourselves that make it hard
Oh, yeah.
for
Oh,
ourselves,
yeah. Don't
right?
even get me
I
started on
know.
that. Yeah, right.
So, and that morning, so I think I asked my husband for permission, and he did not object uh, at all. And then there was this internal resistance that was trying to stop me, because I was like, okay, your daughter is at school. How dare you go for a run? As if she's, I'm sending her to, like, break stones and do hard labor. I don't know. Um,
And you're just enjoying your day. Yeah.
I
Oh, what a
know.
shame.
So,
Yeah, right.
it was such a strong experience of
Mm.
mother's guilt, where I was not allowing myself the permission to do something which was good for my body. Uh, I was just coming up with so many rules. Yes, if you wanted to go for a run, you should
Mm.
have done that at 6 o'clock. Why are you doing that now? This is the time to market. This is the time to do business. This is the time to make money. You send your daughter
The monkey
away.
on your shoulder. Yeah, yeah.
I
Hmm.
know, right? All this was happening. And then, like, there came a point, which I'm so grateful for, where the monkey had had enough. Like, I had had enough of the monkey mind. And a voice inside me just told me, Shilpa, if you cannot give yourself the simple permission for a run, there is no point. What is the point of this business? Why have you designed this business? You might as well work for a boss who treats you like a slave, because that's what you are doing to yourself,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know? And uh, so there was one more fear in my head before I allowed myself the run, that the world will perceive me as not serious about my business. Oh, she's just fluffing around, she goes for a run in work hours. So, it's not even about how will the world know. Nobody knows I'm doing a run, or nobody knows what I'm doing and how I'm planning my day,
Right.
and but it's just the fear of what will they think. The they is the monster. And that has been my pattern, that has been my life, and like my entire life literally flashed back in front of me. And I could see I have always tried to live by other people's rules, tried to maintain the balance, maintain the harmony, and keep everyone happy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where. So I did go for a run. Yay for that. And
Yeah.
I came back, and then a whole bunch of, like, my thoughts were just like pouring out of me. I started journaling them. And that's where enoughness was born, where I realized I
Mm.
have to let every aspiring author know that in any shape or form, their thoughts, their story, their message, their existence is enough. Um,
Amen to that.
I know. Um, yeah, so that's about. I just hope if there is the slightest doubt, and if you're considering writing your book, I hope this helps you take the first step. Just take a pen and paper and get started writing the first word. Before you know, it will become a sentence, it will become a paragraph and a chapter and a book. Um, and I know I touched upon the 4 pillars. Do you want me to quickly go through them, Agnes?
Please do, yes.
Okay, beautiful. So, I have 4 pillars in my business to, help any author bring their book out. And the 4 pillars are, they all start from the letter M. I call it the M4 model. And the first pillar is the message.
Hmm.
So a lot of people have, and I think if you're listening, you will find yourself asking this question. I have so many ideas in my head, I don't know which book to write first, right?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah. Oh,
got
yeah.
you. Um, so the very simple answer to that is write whatever it is that you are most passionate about.
Just like in
Write.
business.
I
Yeah.
know, your niche. People obsess about, they
Oh,
start coaching and they're like, what's my niche? What's my niche? Am I a relationship coach? Am I a business coach? Am I a parenting coach? What can I do? What can I do? Just serve at the level. There's this beautiful saying. It says, serve now and deliver wow. So
yeah.
wherever you are, serve there and deliver awesome value. And before you know, you will be at the next level. You'll be playing with your next idea, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, when I wrote my first book, I was a generalist and I really did not know what I wanted to write about. So I wrote a very generalist life coaching book. I
Okay.
was very proud of it then, but now, as a more evolved author, I can see, okay, I have now found my calling. Now it's all about enoughness. Uh, but I could not write my second book until I wrote my first book. And I could, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the expressions on your face. Um, cool. I'm just gonna keep the phone back. I just wish there was a bit more better lighting, but it's all good. Okay. So that's of course, like there's so much more depth and content and information about bringing your message out. That's the work I do with my authors. Like it's a completely personalized one-on-one coaching package. Um, so the first pillar is your message. Get really clear on what your message is. What's the one thing that you stand for? I mean, you might be passionate about 5 things, but
Hmm.
out of the 5, which are you the most passionate about? And just write about
Hmm.
that. Yeah. So that's the first pillar. The second pillar is the model. And this is kind of getting meta. So I'm talking about the model, but I'm also showing you the model. So we are going into the depth of the model, but you can also
Okay.
see the highlight, right? Because
Hmm.
I'm delivering this information in a using a model that is easy to remember. So I've already shared with you that I follow a M4 model. And
Hmm.
if you ever forget, you can just recall model, like what was the thing? It's M4, right? So message, model, mission, and miracles.
Okay.
Um, right? So the second thing is model, which means structure, structure your information in a way that makes it easy for people to remember, to retain information.
Hmm.
And it makes it easy for your readers to read and what can I say, file that information in their mind, you know. So there's quite, and just go simple. So this is what it's a kind of a quote, but I don't know who said it. um, it takes uh, you know it takes a fool to complicate things, but it takes someone really wise to make them simple,
Oh yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so how I depict my model is using a plus sign, and I've got the four quadrants. I've got the four boxes with message, model, mission, miracles, right? That's how I like to visualize my model. If your model has three important pillars, three key categories, put them on the apexes of a triangle. Or if you're doing something which is cyclical, use a circle to demonstrate your model. So you can have 37 steps to making $1 million. So that's
Okay.
one way of packaging your information. Or you can have, um, so I'm going to show you the example of a book. Bear with me. So this book, Journey to Me, this is the book by
Cool.
one of my authors, Fiona Jean. And, her subtitle is called, ouch, bear with me. Yeah. Her subtitle is called Becoming Functionally Selfish, right?
How cool is that?
I know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So she identified that as a woman, and she has led a life of people pleasing for a large part of her life. And she realized there are 5 key areas in her life where she has to take back the power and live a functionally selfish life so that, once her cup was full, she could help others even better. And the 5 categories were, say, home front, kids, business, spirituality, and health, maybe, right? Now, under each of these 5 sections, she had 3 or 4 chapters, right? So it takes us a little bit of work and contemplation and bouncing of ideas with me, with your coach, but it's possible. So do it in a way that organizes information easily,
So that's the
That's
model part, to find out in the messaging, you find out what actually you want to talk about, and then you're breaking down to a model to deliver it in the
absolutely.
second. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, makes
I'm
sense.
following.
Beautiful. Yes, awesome. Now, the third one is something people are not particularly fond of, which is the mission. And mission is my way of saying action, right? So
Okay.
you've got the message, you've got the model, but girl, you have to now write it.
Someone needs to sit down.
I know. And there are various methods to write your book. So I also do offer an interview methodology and interview style writing. So there have been, like Rachel, her story was about grief, and she needed that support. She needed someone to hold the space for her and bring out that story. And she needed someone to, ask her questions and listen to her with empathy. The same happened with one of my beautiful clients who has written a book about PTSD. So I actually get on a Zoom call with them and we talk about it. Like, I've got an interviewing technique and I interview them and I get their book out of them. And we transcribe it and, then we just clean it up.
Yeah,
So
I love that.
that's
I love that because I'm that type of person as well. I am the person, my coach is asking, yeah, Agnes, but what do you do and what are you good at? And I'm like, meh, who knows? That's my life, that's normal for me. What do you think? And when she starts to ask questions, and oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, I did that. But when I'm sitting down and I'm just, yeah, okay, write something, then I'm not
yeah.
really going into that. So yeah, I really appreciate that. I'm that type of person who needs that.
Yeah, and I'm a blend of both of them. Like, sometimes when I get really reflective, I can write some good stuff, on a blank paper, can really, what can I say, trigger me in a positive direction. But
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes I just can't. Like, I'd rather transcribe this interview, Agnes, than write a blog.
Yeah,
So,
right. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
whatever is your style, basically you have to take the action and bring in the discipline. And I would say, discipline is a gift. Give yourself the gift of discipline. Whether it is waking up at 4 o'clock to write for 1 hour, or waking up at 5 o'clock, or starting to write between 8 to 9, or committing to writing 500 words a day, or committing to doing one recorded video a day so you can transcribe it, uh,
Mm-hmm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, whatever
Would you
that is.
say helps you, whatever helps you
Yeah.
to bring? Because
Yep.
sometimes I need this. I don't know, the inspiration, right? So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I cannot write for a week anything, but sometimes it comes and I write for the whole month, just with ease. Would you say, from your experience, if the messaging and your purpose and what you want to talk about is strong enough, then you feel inspired to sit down and write? Or so is there a pattern what you can say, yeah, that's definitely true? If we choose from 3 different topics the person was able to talk about, and we choose the not the best one, then she feels or he feels hard to sit down and write. But when we
Mm-hmm.
revisited, for example, the main, the first time, the actual story what they want to talk about, then it was inspiring. Is there a common topic, or is there a common theme for that?
Uh, I'll try answering your question, hoping I've completely got the question.
Okay.
So, um, what you said about sometimes writing, like I did it this Monday, I wrote 5,000 words before 10 o'clock. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, I'm nailing it. I'm gonna do another 10,000 by Friday. And can you imagine how many I have
Excellent.
done? I have not done anything because, yes. And that's mainly because I think sometimes our mind becomes complacent. Oh, you've done 5,000 already.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah, right. Oh, you did so much.
yeah, and to some extent I've been traveling a lot. I've been doing a lot of networking events and lunches this whole
Hmm. Hmm.
week, so that way.
Cool.
But yes, sometimes we just like nail it, and then there are dry periods, and that's okay.
Hmm.
But more or less, I still do, like, whether or not I've written anything specifically for my book, I'm at least writing some 500 to 1,000 words every single day. And that's the what can I say, topic for discussion on another day. But just to give you a brief about my morning routine, and this has happened since my wake up call had happened last month, right? So I've been waking up at 4 every morning, uh, doing my journaling, my affirmations, my meditation. Like 4 till 7 is my sacred time. And that's when I'm writing content for my marketing.
Hmm.
It just comes effortlessly, uh, you know. But to answer your question also, if you're finding yourself in pockets of time where you are not inspired, that's okay. Be okay with it,
Hmm.
because if you're always inspired, like, you're maybe superhuman, you're not human.
Yeah, right.
you know?
Let us know what drugs
So,
you take.
yeah, so I think, and that's why when you are inspired, you have to write. You have to make the most of the inspiration so you make up for the days when you're not inspired.
Exactly. Abraham Hicks. Do you know
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Esther
yeah,
Hicks and
yeah,
Abraham Hicks?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I listen nowadays a lot, and he said that
Mm-hmm.
Esther became a vibrational snob. she's only working when she feels inspired to it. And I'm like, oh man, that's me, right?
Yeah.
I'm listening self-development and Abraham Hicks and stuff like that
Yeah.
so long that after 2, 3 videos, I'm like, Agnes, what are you doing still here, right? You have to do something, right? You have to take
I know,
action.
I know, I know, I know.
You cannot just sit here.
This
And
is the
that's what I'm
thing.
waiting for.
Yes, like you can write in your journal, I'm going to write I'm going to write a book. I'm going to launch my book. It's going to become a global sensation, or it's going to become a hit. I'm going to sell 1,000. You can write down your vision and you can visualize and you can do all those things. But it's, you've got to then act on it. So that's the
Yeah.
whole pillar about action and mission. That's what I call your mission, you know. So yes, it
Yes.
sounds very beautiful on the outside, but there's a lot of accountability and pushing, and sometimes, people take a break because, I'm just using Rachel's example. There was a phase when I had to allow her time off her book, because she was like, Shilpa, the memories are flooding me and I'm really, really uncomfortable. I'm falling sick, and like we have to honor those emotions which are surfacing, because, the body, the mind is healing of that grief. And,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
so there are going to be slow times, and that's why we have to make the most of the fast times, when we do feel inspired, right? But
Right.
if we just leave it to the chance of slow times or and fast times or down times and up times, there's not going to be much predictability in results, and that is why I say give yourself the gift of discipline.
And
Yeah,
it will become a habit, right? So you do
exactly.
it once, you do it twice, but you
Yeah,
need that accountability. We
yeah.
know that from every aspect of our lives, right? That training with someone in the gym, and you know that the person is waiting for you. It makes you pack your bag.
Yes,
It
yes,
makes you
yes.
moving, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And I'm going to quote, the very famous author and entrepreneur, Tim Ferriss, the author of 4 Hour Work Week. He says he has to meet the minimum criteria of writing 2 crappy pages per day. That is his quota. You
I
know,
love that. Yeah,
how
yeah,
good,
yeah.
right? Because the expectation is so low, that if he has written 2 crappy pages a day, the thing is, this is how he said it. I'm not allowed to go on a downward spiral or do any mood swings or dramas unless I have written my 2 crappy pages. Because, when I start feeling low and when I start feeling like sad or depressed or anxious about something, I ask myself, like, have you done the work? Have you written 2 crappy pages? And if I have not done that work, I'm not allowed to do mood swings until
I
I've done
love
the
that.
work.
I love that,
It's
and it's so interesting because that's what made my actual process mind work as well, right? I was in a space where I was like, I know I have 10,000 things on my board, what I have to
mm,
do. And those are big, big projects, right? So it's not
mm,
just, log into your Gmail account and delete 5 emails. It was, shoot a video, create a blog post, and this, and I have 2 hours for that,
yeah,
right? And at the moment where I allowed myself to relax, and I
mm,
said, okay, I'm not beating myself up. I'm not doing anything anymore. I'm
mm-hmm,
breaking down those bigger projects and tasks to bite-sized steps, and I'm leaving it. And I know I will have now 4 hours or until the end of the day. And weekly once, I allow myself to switch on the television and binge watch my favorite series. I was sitting there, I'm not kidding you, not even 10 minutes. And I was
mm-hmm,
like, I feel freaking inspired to do something, right? At the
mm,
moment I let things go, the inspiration comes, and my brain, I could do that. That's not that hard, Agnes. Come,
I
sit down.
know.
That's not, it it blew my mind. And since then,
Yeah.
that's my process. That's my shit. Break down everything to bite-sized pieces, what you can do even in 10 minutes. And if you feel overwhelmed, just pick the easiest one from your list and
Absolutely. Yeah.
get into the action and keep moving. So yeah,
Yes,
500 words, it's not even hard. Yeah.
exactly. Just chip at
Yeah.
it, one bite at a time. And for me, I really enjoy writing by hand a lot. So during the
Oh,
4 to 7, I do like, as I told you, like in from Tuesday till Friday, I have not particularly typed anything for my book. I did already 5,000 words on Monday morning. But every single day in the last 1 month, I have written I've written at least 1,000 words in my journal. And that has tons of inspiration. And it's just a matter of transcribing it, into text, into typed font, right?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So I know there is gold in my journal, and I mean that's my discipline. Up at 4, and it's not even hard, because I'm just so inspired. I know I'm on a mission. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that someone like me who has been a night owl all her life, who has believed I cannot do mornings, uh, things have turned around purely because now I'm doing it from
An
yeah, it
inspired
just
space. Yeah,
inspired
yeah, yeah.
state. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And also back
Wow.
to the journaling and handwriting. I have a client, she has a 8-year-old, 10 years old son,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to write something for the school. And the kid had some kind of, I'm not sitting down and writing, right? It's like I just can't. So some kind of procrastination came from that. Um, and she told him, right? It's like, okay, what do you want? I know you like to talk, right? Grab your phone, open
Mm-hmm.
up, start to talk to it, and there are
Mm.
programs which transcribe it to words, right? And after
Yep.
that, you just copy it, and that's it. So if one way starts to bring up some procrastination, try another way. Be creative,
Exactly.
use
Exactly.
whatever helps you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Start Zoom.
Just because one expert says you have to do it in a particular way does not mean you have to do it that way. You have to do it what works best for you.
Best for you,
But then
exactly.
pick one system and commit to it and stick to it,
Yeah.
because if you keep jumping from system to system, then that's a classic recipe for procrastination. So
For procrastination. Okay, and
yeah.
what's our
And the
fourth M?
fourth,
What?
right? So the fourth miracle, the fourth pillar is called the miracle, which is, if you do pillars 1, 2, and 3 right, that's my daughter banging outside the office door.
Sweet.
This is laptop
It's
lifestyle,
how life is. Exactly. I had
right?
an SEO expert, and she just took her and we had the conversation. So if you want to hold her,
No, no,
then
no, no.
please
She's
feel
not
free.
so tiny now. She's gonna like just interrupt the whole thing. But anyways, my husband's looking after her outside. Yeah. So the fourth pillar is, if you do the messaging, the modeling, and the mission and the action steps correct, like, what is meant by correct, but if you do them
Yeah,
with
if you do
your
them.
full intention, yes, then you are bound to get miracles. It's like if you do the work, no one can take away the results from you. And
Exactly.
yeah, so let me actually simplify the 4 pillars. So for the messaging bit, we usually think of it as the why. Why am I writing this book? Why am I passionate about this? What's the story behind that? For the modeling bit, think about asking yourself the question what. So what are the key categories that I need to convey? What are the key elements that I need to consider when I'm teaching this, when I'm sharing this? What are the things I'm going to convey in my book? What matters, right? Then think about the mission. Mission, ask yourself the question, how? So how am I going to do this now? I'm clear about my purpose. I'm clear about the model or the pathway that I have chosen, right? So I'm going to achieve these four milestones in the process of completing my book. These four sections or these 13 chapters or these 27 chapters or whatnot. Now, how am I going to do it? I'm going to write, am I committing to write 500 words every day? Am I committing to write 1,000 words every day? Am I committing to interview? And then how am I going to hold myself accountable? So that's the how bit, right? And when it comes to the fourth pillar, which is the miracles, it's a question where it's the least asked question, and the question is who? Who needs to know that I'm writing this book? Who can help me
Okay.
spread the word? Who
Mm-hmm.
can help me gain more visibility? Who can help me gain momentum? Who can connect me with someone? Who can connect me with an influencer?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Who can get me on a podcast? Who can interview me on their Facebook group, right? So you are a who for me, Agnes. Uh,
I am.
yeah.
I am the miracle. I like that better. I am there.
You're the miracle, right? So, when you start tapping into the power of people,
Mm-hmm.
miracles start to happen
Mm-hmm.
because uh, everyone, like I think the number has changed, but on an average, everyone has 250 people in their network, right?
Okay.
Of course, like my phone book right now is over 1,000 people. My Facebook friends are nearly 3,000. But if I sat down to write a list, I think I could write a list of 250 people easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that number has become slightly bigger these days. Like it used to be 250 like 10 years ago and even 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But for
but
business and networking, it grows.
yes,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
think of
yeah.
it as, if, who are the 20 or 30 or 40 key people that you can reach out to, have conversations, without expectation. Just tell them, hey, you know what? I'm writing my
Really
book.
important. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
The
I
conversation. Yeah.
absolutely just like uh, connect to the human in them, you know so tap into the potential of the people in your network. Trust, ask for help. Don't think you have to do this all alone, and help in
Mm.
the form of reaching out for a coach, reaching out for hiring a VA, and OBM if you need. Here we've got Agnes. So
Yeah, right.
a little bit of a plug. Why not?
Thank you.
So, yeah, like get the help. Don't think you are insufficient or not good enough just because you're not able to do everything yourself. Because trust me, guys,
No.
any one of us, like myself and Agnes included,
Oh,
if
yeah.
we come across as rocking this entrepreneurial laptop lifestyle, that's because we have loads of help. Uh, yeah,
And
so
processes, guys, and
and
processes in
processes.
place,
Yeah,
which became a
absolutely.
habit. And but yeah, one of my clients is like, Agnes, but I don't want to get my business, taken over or let go my business. And I'm like, it's not because you cannot do it. It's because you shouldn't. You should focus on what you are good at, right?
Yeah.
You should focus on delivering your 120% to your clients, what you usually do,
Absolutely.
and leave the business operation to others, to your VA, to me, to your bookkeeper, and whoever, right?
Mm,
You
mm,
don't need
mm.
to hit the post button on Facebook. You don't need to schedule
I
calls.
know.
You don't need to send emails. There are people for that who can do it even better or with
Mm,
enthusiasm or inspiration, and you can
mm.
serve your clients, because at the end of the day, you serve your clients in maybe 20% of the time, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
and great point because this just reminds me of people freaking out, like going back to the message phase, right? The fear that stops a lot of people is my writing is not good enough. I'm not confident when it comes to writing. My grammar is not great.
Yeah.
To which I say, as an author, your job is only to present great ideas, even if they are
Exactly.
clunky, you know. It's the
Exactly. The
editor's
story.
job. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
present your story. It's the editor's job to clean it up, to make it look beautiful,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So don't try to become everything. But I think life will be much more easier if you just choose to be yourself and do what you are great at and just share your story and own your worth.
Amen to that.
I know, amen. Ah,
Cool,
so this
cool,
brings
cool.
us
Thank you very much.
back, yeah,
Yeah,
full
yeah, yeah,
circle
yeah.
to
Full
enoughness.
circle. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And yeah, so if people are looking to write their stories, and I hope we honed down on that message that you are enough, we are enough. So there is nothing to stop you actually to get
Absolutely.
started now, right? How can people reach you? What do you offer? How do you offer it? How can we get
Right.
started?
So, my key offering is pretty standard. I'm like the one-stop shop for authors where I
Mm-hmm.
start working with them at the ideation phase where they're just playing with an idea and they're like, you know what, Shilpa, this is my, and like that's my expertise. I enjoy blending your personal story with your business expertise.
Mm-hmm.
So most likely you're writing a story to position yourself as an authority in your field, or
Mm-hmm.
in whatever work or coaching or hustle that you're trying to establish.
Yeah.
Right? So I start at that point, and then we try to find a context that makes it really relevant and valuable for your reader and your positioning. And then we go through the whole process of figuring out, how do you want to write the book? Do you want me to interview you, or do you want to write it yourself?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
do a complete content mapping, book mapping session where we actually map out the content. So you've got like one-on-one hand holding all throughout, till we have brought your baby, delivered your baby out.
Yeah.
So
How long does it take on an average?
So it's again, the program is designed to be done, completed in 6 months. And
Okay.
honestly, because we are humans and we are not robots, the longest my client has taken
Mm-hmm.
is 2 years,
Okay.
because yeah, it overwhelmed them and they just kind of withdrew. They were in
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
denial and they thought they were not good enough anyway. And then the
It's a
quickest it
shame. It's a
has,
shame.
yeah, but then they did bring their book out eventually, so which they're very proud of. And the shortest that someone has taken is 6 months. So I
Okay.
would say, the way the process is developed is, we aim to write your book within the first 3 months with, close monitoring and hand holding and support.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the next 3 months, like from the point of launching your book, we actually help you create a 90-day marketing action plan. So you can
Oh,
actually
cool. Mm-hmm.
leverage, and there's like a whole lot of gold in there. Like I also coach my clients to establish their sales system,
Mm-hmm.
because just writing a book is not going to magically get you clients, right?
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Not
Back in the
anymore.
days when Amazon got started,
It
they were really good in sending traffic to things, but hoopa, but not anymore. I
Yeah.
really need to do something
Yeah.
here.
So,
So yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
so it's a complete, what can I say, one-stop shop. Like your editing, your cover design, your book formatting, book distribution globally, worldwide, the launch of your book, taking your book to an Amazon bestseller if that's what you want to achieve. There's a strategy for
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
All that is handled in this one shop. as well as, and then helping you. So I like to call it, I didn't touch upon that at all, but the formula that, from a business perspective, that I deliver is called six-figure authority.
Okay.
And, we teach you everything and we handheld you and we business coach you after writing your book for 3 months. So you can actually start putting yourself out there, connecting yourself with the right kind of leads. So you can actually now confidently sell those high-end packages anywhere between 2,000 to 5,000 to 10,000, And when you're able to get like, say your package is a $5,000 package, you just need 20 clients to do 100,000, right?
Right.
And that's how we want your book to work. We position you to and your book, so that your book works for you rather than you working for your book.
Yeah,
But
right. Yeah. So that's step one, to get started with you guys, and from there is just nicely laid out. The blueprint is
yes,
just there.
yes, yes.
I love that. I love
So
that. Do you have a group or page
I do
or where
have a
people can
group.
reach you?
Yes, I do have a personal profile and a business page and a group. It's going to be a bit, what can I say, complicated if I mention it here. But yes, my group is called I Can Write a Book, and my page is called Shilpa Book Coach.
Okay, we
So
will add
if
that
you,
to the comments
yes,
after
we will
that.
add that
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
comments, and if you can pin that to the top, that will be great.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Cool, cool, cool. Thank you
So
very much
I
for
have
being
I have a
here.
special offer for all your
Oh.
group members, Agnes. Um, this is I want to give people a taste of the real content mapping session, the book mapping session, which I give to all my clients. So with my clients, I would do anywhere from 2 to 3 hours of content mapping for the book. But for members of your group, I would love to offer them a 60-minute session where we will still map out some key ideas, and it's called a book mapping session. It's worth $495, and I will provide you with a link as well as a coupon code, which will waive off the session fees. So if anyone's even remotely considering writing a book and you think you're not good enough, or you think your story is not good enough, and you just need someone to reflect back to you how it can all come together, then let's do that in a session.
I love that. I love that. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. It sounds
Thank
amazing.
you.
It sounds
I
amazing.
know it sounds
Cool, cool,
it
cool.
is amazing. Yes, thank you.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank you very much for being here. I know it's getting late by you guys, so thank you. It was
You're
amazing.
so
And yeah,
welcome.
let's keep up the great work, and let's keep in touch.
Yes.
And guys, let's start to write your books, your stories. Have an
Yes,
amazing day.
thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Take care. Bye.